sticking with the tree, which so far I'm absolutely loving. And I think partly because of the way it's going to frustrate people who come upon this channel and they're like, wait, is this the same video again with the tree? And oh man. Okay, so anyway, thanks to those of you with patience on this experiment. Speaking of which, that is actually today's topic, and that is that when something you're doing is not working, by whatever definition, not working enough, not working fast enough, not growing, maybe just not feeling it, whatever it is, when something's not working, that's a great time to roll the dice. It's a good time to try changing things up. It can be scary, it can be uncomfortable, it can feel like, well, what I've been doing has been working well enough so far. What if I lose that progress? But what ends up happening is we end up trapping ourselves in a local maxima, which for one reason or another just means that as we try to further improve at it, there's a low ceiling at how continuing to polish on that is going to fix the issues, because maybe the issues are tangential, totally unrelated, and a total change in approach might be a better fit. I remember back when I was a wrestler and there was certain techniques I would use, certain moves I would go for, and some of my coach's advice was to try changing it up a little bit, and that's because I'd have a rocky start to that season. And sure enough, it worked out better, but I remember stressing out at the time of really worrying about, well, but these are the ones that I know. These are the ones that I'd really practiced at. These are the ones that I had on my mind, but they weren't working out for me. And instead of seeing this as something which can feel scary or uncertain or worrisome, it can be really liberating. It can be really exciting. It's a chance to try to come at it from a new angle. It's a chance to try to think about the problem differently than you have. A chance to try to do it differently than the way you've been doing it so far. If what you've been doing hasn't been getting you the results you wanted, or the progress you wanted, or the reach, or whatever it was you wanted, then it's a chance to try things out. This is also the case, though, let's talk about the other side to that, where if things are going pretty well, you're pretty happy with how things are going, you're satisfied, you're comfortable with them, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That can sound bad, it's really not a bad thing. Well, then that means, no reason to stress out over rolling the dice, to change it up, to shift things around. And so we see this come up all the time when people are in a job that they're happy with, are in a living situation they're happy with, where they start to wonder about, well, would I be happier somewhere else? Should I shift things around? Should I just roll the dice, throw caution to the wind, try some new things? And what tends to happen is there's always going to be downsides to anything, right? This includes big companies, small companies, different living situations, different environments, big cities, small cities, being closer to family, being further from family. All these things come with pros and cons to them. But each thing, we just decide which one of the downsides are we most comfortable with, which one of the trade-offs are we happy with, and it doesn't distract from the rest of our life. And this is why oftentimes if it's satisfying our needs in that area, well, we might have found something that works good, and let's keep the experimentation on the parts of life that we're not as happy with. It can sound so obvious and pointed out, but I think it's a helpful focusing function for making sure we're spending our changing and our attention, our willpower, on the areas of life that are going to be of highest yield to us, in terms of the pieces most in need of being addressed. In game development, we often think of this sort of thing as where we've solved a lot of problems that we'll call first pass. We've got something that kind of works, might be rough, but it's working. And then we can kind of go back afterwards and say, okay, which part's the most in need of attention? Which part's the most in need of work? And then selectively, by addressing our weaknesses, one thing at a time, can sort of pull it all together until it gets to, overall, a better place. That's what the thought's about today, about making sure that whatever the area of life, or the project, or side interest, in my case, this video hobby, feels like could use some additional tweaks, that's where to focus that energy, and the rest, let it go, let it ride, enjoy it the way it is. That's it for the day. Thanks as always for tuning in.